Welcome everybody, I'm Alice Blue and I am here to tell you what we've got going on in Embers Adrift this week. Recently we've had a whole bunch of new things added to the game. We got fast travel, we got a new zone, we have abilities all the way up to level 30, and those are just a few of the big things we've got recently. So let's see what we're getting this week. Okay, so this week, June 8th, what's new? This week's update is a big one. We are bringing you revamped player stats, guilds, an overhauled chat window, and dynamic music tracks. Guilds and the new chat windows are very much incomplete, with glaring omissions and undoubtedly many bugs to be found, so please pardon our dust. We're moving closer to the wipe, but I still don't have an exact date. The most likely scenario is within the next week or two. Bug fixes and improvements. Tech. Detection distances have been reduced for gray mobs. Fixing dots and hots, not always applying their final tick. Bears, boars, wolves, does, and stags can now swim. Gathering and crafting levels are now capped at your adventuring level, plus 10. Increasing Red Shore shoreline audio volume still needs work. Fixing volume issues for one of Red Shore's music tracks. So we've got detection distances for gray mobs have been reduced, so it'll be easier to run through zones that you've out-leveled. Dots and hots should now always apply their final tick. Multiple different animals can now swim now, so have fun getting away from them. Gathering and crafting levels are now capped at your adventuring level plus 10. So what I'm thinking this means, if I am level 10 adventuring level, I can go up to level 20 crafting level. That's what I'm thinking that means. So your adventuring level and then add 10. So you've got a little bit of wiggling room. Basically, you need to get 10 levels to advance to the next tier. Art and environment. Fixing environmental and vegetation bugs in Red Shore and Dryfoot. Rebaking the nav mesh in Red Shore and Dryfoot. UI. Offhand slot to the right of the action bar now shows two-handed weapons. First pass at a Red Shore map has been implemented. We are trying something slightly new with this map. You no longer have to find a specific point of interest to uncover that part of the map. Each individual point of interest will be its own discovery when more get added, but the uncovering will happen more organically as you traverse the land. Please let us know how you feel about this style compared to having to find a specific region or point of interest. Adding Ember Monolith to maps, this includes North and South New Haven, Meadowlands, Dryfoot, and Red Shore. Design. Flash Powder Stun is now correctly breaking on hit. Fixing naming of some logs and gems which mismatched node and item names. Pushed back spawns around monoliths. Red Shore Coastal Cave should be populated again. Fix daggers, which were missed in the one-hand delay reduction. Fix an issue where doom spiders stopped dropping their special venom. Fix an issue where Emberfly glow ability was too strong. Reduction to newbie area, doe, and quillback dodge rates. Updated abilities, equipment, and consumables for new stat and resist system. Leather has been given innate flanking bonus to give it an additional value compared to metal armor. That's exciting. I don't know how I feel about this. We'll see. I feel like one of the best ways to get to know an area, to get to know a zone, and on a smaller level, to get to know a certain chunk of that zone. A big part of that was searching for the map unlock. When searching for the map unlock, You paid more attention to your surroundings, you looked for specific things, you had to figure out where exactly that map unlock was, and therefore you were exploring that section of that zone and getting to know it a lot better. I like this idea, but I hope that it doesn't take away from that. I'm pretty pumped for the new stat system. And also, leather having its own special bonus is freaking hype, dude. Super hype. I hope metal also gets its own special bonus, so there will be some kind of reason to wear both, because you can still get a pretty good armor class out of wearing leather armor. New stuff. And this is the big one that I've been waiting for and I'm super stoked about. Player Stat Refactor. Player stats have been revamped on the back end. This greatly simplifies things moving forward, allowing for much quicker iteration time and making it much easier to add and remove and modify existing stats. The most notable changes are that weapon damage has moved from slashing, crushing, and piercing to one-handed, two-handed, and ranged. We have also added a flanking stat, which is a bonus to your weapon and roll positional bonuses. This is currently reflected on weapon tooltips, but not on roll tooltips. The current list of visible player stats are as follows. Let's see, we've got a table here, and we've got resist, offense, defense, and miscellaneous. Under the resist window, we have physical damage, mental damage, chemical damage, ember damage, physical debuffs, mental debuffs, chemical debuffs, ember debuffs, and movement debuffs. We also have confuse, daze, and stun. So you can resist different types of damage, and you can resist different types of debuffs. And then confuse, daze, and stun are going to be our status effect. So we'll be able to resist status effects as well. We have offense, hit, penetration, one-handed, two-handed, ranged, mental damage, chemical damage, ember damage, and flanking. Under a defense window, we have resilience, avoid, block, parry, and riposte. Resilience is your saving throw. So when your health gets to 0, you get a saving throw, a dice roll, basically, that determines whether or not you actually go down. So having a high resilience increases your chance of not going down when you get to 0 health. So you can have, an extra split second to pull off a heal, execute, or to run away or something. Now, obviously, if you get hit again right after this, you will go down. We have avoid, which self-explanatory. We have block, block the damage. And then we have parry and riposte. These two things, parry and riposte, work together. In order to get riposte to proc, you need to have parry. Then under the miscellaneous category, we have health regenerate, stamina regenerate, movement, combat movement, haste, and safe fall. Movement is going to be your basic, your base movement speed outside of combat, and then we have combat movement, which is separate. These are two separate stats. Haste basically determines your cooldown. If you have a high haste, the cooldown of your auto attack and abilities will be much faster. And safe fall is safe fall. Take less damage when you fall off a cliff or, trip over a rock. With this update comes a change to how resist work for both lasting effects, debuffs, and dots. Debuffs will now have their durations reduced based on the resist of the target. This means that a debuff duration will be cut in half if your target's resists are 50%. Dots, on the other hand, will simply have their per tick values reduced by the target's resist. As an example, if your dot normally hits for 10 damage per tick and your target has a 50% resist, then each tick will only hit for 5 damage per tick. This logic applies to both NPCs and players, so get your resists up. Note that we are still working through migrating the data for this change. This means that items may be off or have incorrect stats, and this is especially true for crafted items. Crafting data still needs some fixing. You may also notice on some tooltips a count in red for specific stats. This is debug data put there so that we don't miss anything in the cleanup process and can safely be ignored for now. See the red text in the screenshot below. It is a really tiny screenshot, guys. Holy smokes. Okay, so we have a crafted item which has red text here. You can just ignore the red text for now. Tech for a new type of CC has been added, the lull. This essentially negates the target's ability to acquire new targets via their normal sensors. NPCs that are lulled can still acquire targets via damage. No abilities currently utilize this tech, but now that it exists, it should be integrated into the game soon. Guilds are coming in hot this week. Rather than push it back another week, we've opted to just ship it and get testing and feedback underway. With this release, you can create guilds, set up custom ranks with specific permissions, set a message of the day, manage your guild roster, promote, demote, invite, and kick members, etc. There's a lot of logic involved in who can do what in a guild. This is all based on the permissions your rank affords, as well as where your rank is sorted in relation to others. Example, you cannot kick someone of the same rank or a higher rank even if you have the kick member's permission. So please, test all the things. This is the other thing I've been pretty hyped about. Here we've got guild, you can see it here, you've been invited. Guild, best guild, guild master. Got the roster here. Description, the name says it all. Message of the day. Guild master, new rank, recruit. Got some buttons here, some delete, some options. You can name it. Looks like we have invite, promote, chat, listen, officer listen, edit public note, edit guild description, edit guild message of the day, disband guild, kick, demote, chat speak, officer speak, edit officer note, view officer note, edit guild ranks. Improved chat. Due to guilds placing new demands on our chat system, we're also shipping a new chat UI. You may notice that this new UI contains the start of a new feature, tabs. While there's still a ways to go, call this new feature complete, such as the ability to drag tabs off into their own windows. A lot of underlying work has been done to make way for more flexible chat systems. You can set custom filters for each tab, toggle timestamps, and set the overall window opacity. This impacts all tabs. The new chat window is currently experiencing some text overlapping issues when text is added. To resolve this, either resize the window slightly to force a recalculation, or change the font size slightly. We are actively working on a fix for this. Dynamic music tracks. A few months ago, we asked our composer to start decomposing a handful of tracks from our soundtrack. He started splitting them up into different mood files that could all be played on top of one another. We came up with the following 6 layers for each track: bass, day, night, peace, combat, and point of interest. This week we are introducing one new dynamic track to New Haven North and South, Central Veins, Meadowlands, and Red Shore. While these tracks are playing, the music will adapt to the game state and should yield a much more dynamic soundscape. The bass layer is always playing. Day or night plays depending on the game time. Peace or combat plays depending on if your character is in combat. And the POI track plays when you are near an Ember ring. We are very excited to bring this feature to you, and we hope to continue migrating our current soundtrack to this dynamic format. I like that. I might actually have to turn music back on in the game. I've had it turned off for a while because it was just really loud, but I might actually have to turn it back on. Okay, so works in progress. All of these works in progress are still the same as they were last week. You can go and check out that video for a more detailed overview of them. This is new, a new creature which is coming soon. The Ridgeback is a pretty hefty, snapping turtle-like creature that has a ferocious appetite for adventurers. It wants to eat you. Look at this thing. This thing's freaking cool looking. Can't wait to kill it. These grubs will likely be hunted down by other creatures, but who's to say they won't hunt you? Kinda gross. It's a grub. Crafting updates, timeline 1 to 2 weeks. A large chunk of these tasks were finished on a different branch of the code. If all goes well, we should be able to push these changes within the next week or two. The current changes we're aiming for are: improve the progression by unlocking recipes as you level rather than giving to you all right away. Augment system, some equipable slots only obtainable via crafting or adventuring. Make the experience proportional, increase the number of materials required, and reevaluate the role of quality. So again, this week we got some pretty great stuff coming in. We got the new stats. The stat overhaul has been completed. We got new chat windows, tabs, finally. Thank you so much. Oh, and we also got a new map for Red Shore with a new map mechanism. We got dynamic music. So yeah, lots of really great things to come and check out. If you haven't been in for a while, definitely come hop in the game and see what's been going on. Check out the progress. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. I would really love it if you could hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and maybe even that notification button so you can get notified whenever I post a new video. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye!